So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the greatest watch market update show. This is a public service watch announcement channel, and we try to bring you only, the truth, what we believe is the truth. Allegedly, what we believe is the truth. In this channel, we say always allegedly, so there won't be no thunder lightning, lightnings in my TV tower, and there's no problem. I ask all of you to please cooperate with this channel. This is a very small channel that is only doing a job that for myself. I kind of like for a million, because it's just me by myself and the owner of the channel. Sweet Kid Kino. He's here today. He's quiet again. He wants to see how I talk and what I say. He wants to make sure that everything is being said the way he wants it to be said, the way he writes it down. So again, please don't forget to cooperate with a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I promise you will not regret it. All right, guys? Today is kind of a mix because I don't know where to start this channel. I don't know where to start this channel, where to start today the show, in this channel. I don't know where, because there's so many things that I wanna share with you guys that I'm like saying, where should I start? Because everything is yum, it's yummy, it's good, everything is yummy. But I'm gonna just start like I always start, You know what I'm saying, Damon, you know what I'm saying. Mr. Yo Leo is here too. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. There's something that I wanna talk to you guys about, and it is that sometimes you get scared and you get alarmed. You alarm yourself when you saludos Alberto, ciao Alberto, when you're saying something, and basically I say it and I say, coño, I'm saying it, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't happen. But I gotta be honest, man. When you start saying things and they're just happening, too quick in front of you, it kind of, it's kind of, I'm not gonna say it's scary, but it's like, it's alarming. Like, what's going on here? I want you guys to know that on October the 7th of 2025, October the 7th of 2025. We finally broke the $4,000 mark on gold, $4,000. And I said a while ago that, if it hits 3,000 is scary. And if it hits 4,000, run to the hills, run to the hills, because this is getting crazy. Because when it goes to 4,000, it's a lot of things mixed up, political wise, exports, financing exports, military problems, war here, there. You know what I'm trying to say. So, and I spoke to you the other day, and I didn't want to do a show yesterday because I really wanted just to take a look at the way these precious metals are behaving. And I told you guys that I was talking to a couple of my friends, and we were having a little cappuccino, Cuban coffee, and they were telling me that it was going to hit $5,000 by the end of the year. And I was just listening to them, and when they finished, I said, they thought I was going to say something like it was going to be lower. And I've been telling you guys that this has been accelerating like that track over there. Not the track, that expressway in Germany where the cars go very fast, the Autobahn or Autobahn. Well, I don't know how to call it, but something to that. And I was telling you people that this is accelerating, I was telling you that it was accelerating and accelerating. And some of you, you heard me out, and some of you didn't hear me out, and that's fine. And so I had all these people telling me, what do you think? And I said, I think you're wrong. I think this thing is flying. And ladies and gentlemen, I wanna say this as best as I can. I'm not the best TV person in the world. I'm gonna give it to you wrinkle. I'm not gonna give it to you press. I'm gonna give it to you wrinkle, because that's the only way I know how to talk. This is Kino's channel, and I can talk the way I want. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that from October the 7th, and today is October the 16th, I left gold yesterday at 4,200 and high number, So I already know it was gonna hit the 4,300, Boom, it hit the 4,300. And then today, again, I wasn't planning on doing a show, and I was watching the way it was behaving, and this is no lie. If some of you were tracking gold or silver or palladium or platinum or rhodium, man, I am telling you, I don't know if you ever rode a taxi in New York City, and the meter, the meter, you put down the little hand, you put it down, and he goes on to La Guardia or JFK and he charges you, right? Man, that thing was going like that. It was just moving. I'm talking about gold. It was just moving. Then it would stop and it would throw reverse, and then it would go back up again. Then it would throw reverse, and then it would go back and forth. It was just going crazy. It was erratic. It was erratic. And I was looking at it, looking at it. Boom, it broke the 4,300. And then it went down to 4,000 at 3 o'clock at $4,326. $4,326. And just a couple of minutes ago, I looked at it again, and I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, we all could have bought. We all could have bought in Costco. I'm telling you, no more than a month and a half ago, we could have bought an ounce for $3,076. Ladies and gentlemen, gold right now is at $4,373.19. And people that have all the money in the world are talking about that this is gonna, go to 5,000 at the end of December of 2025. As you can see, there's no way in the world, the way it's behaving, it's no way, it should flatten it. I don't know when it should flatten the $5,000 mark, but I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it should flatten it. I don't know if you guys have the same ideals of me, because some of you have been saying that it's for January the 1st, December the 31st, the 30th. And I'm telling you, the way this thing is going, this is going very, 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 very scary. It's going very scary. So I wanted you guys to know that gold right now, I left it at 43.73.19 a troy ounce. Silver, I left it at $53.74. If it reaches 0.5, it will zoom to, wow, okay. And well, it's looking that way, Damon. If it's already 43.73.19, I don't see a problem getting to 4,500 already. We have the troy ounce of silver at $53.74. To buy a maize, okay, 54. Look, 54.49. Mr. Dono told me it's 54.49. Palladium, it was the other day at crazy numbers, Dr. E. Crazy numbers. I really hope you are really stacking up, and you were able to stack up, before it has, gone up from the 8th, from the 7th of October to today, another $370. It's gone up, So I really hope you are really stacking up, like you were saying. We're rooting for you, man. We are rooting for you, Dr. E. We're rooting for Thurston. We're rooting for Damon. We're rooting for Mr. Donut. We're rooting for all of you. At least in this channel, we root for everybody, If I don't make it, I want you guys to make it, And that's how I feel about it. Thurston Howard III has been following up, sending me a couple of, comments, and I've seen them, and thank you very much again for that, because it's just going crazy, the way gold is behaving. So again, going back to the palladium was last week. So you understand, palladium was last week. I told you $1,297. And today, ladies and gentlemen, palladium is at $1,000. $677. I left it. You know, again, I'm just telling you, what's happening. From there, you take it and you do whatever you want, The next one that I have for you guys is platinum. The platinum is at $1,727 a troy ounce. Okay? So you know what's going on. And rhodium, ladies and gentlemen, rhodium, that mother frogger, is scaring people out of their, out of their socks. And the socks are just standing still, because it's unbelievable. Rhodium is at $8,150. Rhodium. So you have that already. You understand what's going on. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know why is this happening, what's going on, we're going on the government shutdown. I think this is day number 15, 17, 16. I don't know what day it is, but the government is in shutdown still, and everything is upside down. One thing that I want to say something of all my all armed forces servicemen. They're out there defending this country, this great country. I want you to know something, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care if it's blue. I don't care if it's red. Ladies and gentlemen, these people have a tug of war going on. And I don't care if they don't pay somebody that works for the government and I don't know, taxes or something in the government, But the military, those people are young kids, 18 and 19 years old. I don't know if they have paid them already, if they got the reserve money and they pay these young kids. They're in the Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, whatever it is. You got to pay those people. Those people are defending our country. Our country right now is upside down. And if you don't believe me, you keep on hearing me and you're going to see how upside down our country is, ladies and gentlemen. So if they haven't paid them, either the blue or the red or the blue, you need to pay those armed forces, man. They're watching our country. Tienen que pagarle a esos muchachos. These are 18-year-old kids that they left Cindy over there in Georgia, with a little belly having a baby. You need to pay those people. They're watching me. They're watching Mr. Donald. They're watching Damon, Mr. Blair, Thurston Howard, Mike, Pete, etc. So you need to pay those people. I don't care if they're hearing me or not. I want them to hear me. They pay those people. Don't pay the people where they work in government office, government that. No. You pay the service people. Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force. All right? All right, so we got that clear. And we're going, how many days are we going on this shutdown already? Is it 16, 17, 18? What is it, Tell me what it is, ladies and gentlemen, Tell me what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to say something that, it's kind of crazy what I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you guys know Blackrock CEO, Blackrock's CEO. Larry Fink, Larry Fink, this guy, they say is an unbelievable finance mind, This guy is unbelievable, he's too long, exactly, doctor, he's too long already, pay those people and that's it. Give them the dinero, give them the chavo, give them the money for the milk, for the formula, for their kids, So Larry Fink, ladies and gentlemen, is the CEO of Blackrock. And I've always told you Blackrock, State Street, Vanguard, Blackstone, all these people. But ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman by the name of Larry Fink, he said something today and I want you to hear me clearly. Hear me out, ladies and gentlemen. He says that everything will be tokenized, everything is going to be tokenized. And it's unbelievable that he's saying this. These people are unbelievable. Esta gente son el diablo. Please pay attention so you can catch a couple of words and you can repeat them out there, ladies and gentlemen. So he's saying that. He's saying that everything will be tokenized, And I want you guys to know something, gentlemen. That's the devil telling us all his plans. While we are off with the fairies, either you join devil or belief left behind, or you're going to be left behind. Because these people son el diablo. These people are unbelievable. These people, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to sound like, like I'm preaching from the church, pero esta gente son el diablo. These people, this is what they want to do to us. They want to drive you crazy. You see him first talking about this, talking about he's selling out this, he's dropping this. And I'm asking myself, what is this? Could this be because, a couple of weeks ago, when that crash happened with Bitcoin, he sold all his, I don't know how you call it, BTC, ETC, I don't know what he sold, but they dumped everything, they dumped everything, and, it's unbelievable. What these people are doing is unbelievable. And I ask myself, tokenization, the reason BlackRock dumped BTC. What is BTC, ladies and gentlemen? Can anybody tell me what BTC is? Because they dumped it all. They jumped BTC, they dumped it all, and now sell. They sold everything, and now they're saying that everything is going to be, it's going to be, these people, I don't want to sound, bad saying this, but esta gente son el diablo. These people, this is what they do to us. They all confuse us, they get us dizzy, and now they're saying that, the XRP, ETF, is this, and they're driving you all crazy with this sketch, este tipo es un lambón. I told you what's up with BlackRock. They can, what? Some years ago, they were talking negative about cryptocurrency, and now they're talking positive of cryptocurrency, and everything is going to be tokenized, tokenized, and this is the future. They're going to make us all todos unos esclavos, a bunch of slaves. We're going to become all of us now, It's crazy, but it's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. These people, what they have in mind for us, they want to have control over us. That's all. Son satánicos, papi. Son satánicos. Satanic. Satanic. Esto es lo que esto es. If you look into that guy, Larry Fink, you see what they are. A Trojan horse. You see what? Son unos bandidos. They salute. All of them get in line and they salute the owl, Today my arms hurt too much, so I'll give you a little couple of flaps, And that's how it is. Y ustedes están de lambones. Let me explain to you something else because, I got to keep on here. I got to keep on explaining to you guys. I spoke to you guys about a mystery, a mystery well. Maybe last week. I'm sure it was last week. I spoke to you because when we get into looking at things and, we put it sideways like that, this way, that way, we put it everywhere in the sun to look at everything. I told you about the mystery well. He dropped $420 million on the short. You're on the short. And then he pulled out and he made $200 million, right? He made $200 million. Unbelievable but true, but he made $200 million. A $200 million profit. And ladies and gentlemen, to my amaze, I keep on telling you this. It doesn't matter if you belong to the red or the blue. No sean lambones. Red or blue. It's a business. Whichever color you like, it's a business. At the long run, it's a business. Ladies and gentlemen, that gentleman that's over there in Pennsylvania Avenue, that gentleman that's in Pennsylvania Avenue, he has a son. He has a son. Listen so you can learn and you can repeat it tomorrow in PE in government class. You can repeat it over there, He has a son. And that son, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. He invested $30 million. $30 million, ladies and gentlemen. And you're not going to believe this when I'm telling you these things, because this is crazy, you know? And so when he put the $30 million on the Bitcoin, you know, 30 minutes before that guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, you know, he put out, you know, that the China, listen to me, the China tweet, 30 minutes, the son puts 30 million, and the father sends out that tweet, 30 minutes. The China tweet. You don't know about this. You don't know about this. I don't expect you to know about this. Porque ustedes son lambones. Lambones. $30 million. The father sends out that tweet to the China people, you know, Xinjiang. He said, this is what's going on. The son put it there, and ladies and gentlemen, you know, last week, it turns out that the wallet, he cashed out. He cashed out, you know, that kit, he cashed out $190 million. $190 million. I ask all of you, because all of you guys are all smarter than me. Yo soy un lambón. But is that called inside trading? You know, is that called inside trading, inside Bitcoin trading? Go ahead, somebody answer me now. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, you Google it. You Google it. You Google it. Because all this information that I have here, you know, he writes it at his own pace, his own style, but he writes it there. And some of you might understand it, and some of you might not understand it. No comment. Look at that, no comment. You know, it's all rigged, just in case you don't want to comment. It's all rigged. Red or blue is all rigged. So the mystery well, he pumped in on the short 200 million. You know, on the back bet, like throwing dice. You don't know about that. You know who showed me all this? Paco Gambino. Paco Gambino showed me all this. You know, you understand what I'm trying to say? Papi, no coman mierda. Esta es la mafia roja. This is the red mafia. Does anybody know what the red mafia is? Don't think it's none of that Carlo Gambino or, you know, the Genovese or the Bonanno. You know, no, it's none of those people, none of that. This is the real red mafia. You know the real red mafia who is? You don't know about that one? Go ahead, somebody answer me if they know who the red mafia is. You don't know, huh, Damon? I'm going to tell you one more. Let's see. Google it. Out that. Google it. The red mafia. China, Rusia, esa la mafia roja. La mafia roja, papi. You see it? I said it. There it is. You guys don't know nothing. Yo soy un lambón, ladies. I'm a dropout from school, ladies and gentlemen. I only read. I digest it. Esto es una jodienda lo que está pasando en el mundo. So they're all getting you crazy. You know, they're all getting you crazy and dizzy with the, you know, tokenization. You know, you guys are skip hopping around with a, you know, with a big, you know, bow tie. You know, ustedes no pueden seguir así. You know, I come back to see how you guys do. Does anybody know about that? Nobody. Not a single person put there. Yes, $30 million. That 18-year-old young man, he's unbelievable. $30 million. You know? Hey, papi, daddy, what's going to happen? You're going to give what time? 30 minutes? Hold on. You know? Let me put 30 million on black. You know? 30 million on black. Or 30 million on green. You know? Boom. He makes the tweet. China people, tariff all the way up, Bitcoin crash, boom, 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 I pull out. Papi, it's all rigged. You cannot tell me that this is not inside trading. This is why I keep on telling you, it doesn't matter what group you belong to. It doesn't matter. You need to get that out of your mind already. It's all rigged. It's all a big business. And everybody is making money there. Everybody. And then you have people talking about the two parties, the blue and the red, because they play good cop, bad cop. Bad cop, good cop, whatever you want to call it. And you got those people out there and all those ships, those destroyers out there, with the big, I don't know how to call it, cañonazo eso, they're ready to fight for us, but they don't pay those people. And then these people are playing around with, cryptocurrency, and 30 minutes before, pull it out. Pay me. Pay me. Pay me. And then me and you, what do we get? We get this, deep. And then they're talking about now that with the tariffs, we're probably, I don't know if you know about this too. Saludos, Aquiles, saludos. I don't know if you know about this too. They've been talking about murmurando. I've been thinking that with all the tariffs that we're getting from everybody now, and we're doing this to them, I'm thinking that I might give 2,000 check to Mr. Damon, 2,000 check to Mr. Donut, 2,000 check to Kino, You understand? You're going to give 2,000, but meanwhile, these people are milking everything that they can get their hands on. And then you got this guy, Larry Fink, the CEO of Blackrock, that he's saying that it's over, combined with all real estate, this, that, boom, bing, bang. Do you know how much money they were saying today that they have? Forget about the billions. Forget about the billions. They're talking about something crazy. I don't even want to tell you the number, but please, somebody Google it. Trillions of dollars. But we're not going to make none of that, papi. That's for them. Okay, you're going to buy give me a couple of coins. ¿Qué eres tú, mamalón? ¿Qué eres tú? Tú eres una cucaracha. Tú eres un insecto. They're telling us all these things, but it's for them. They want us to all put our money in all these things, all these names that they got. They got all these beautiful names for us. They're unbelievable. I'm telling you, you got Wall Street, you got Merrill Lynch, you got BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, State Street, JP Morgan. Papi, no sean lambones. This is para volverte loco, because gold is going somewhere, and now they're all playing hush hush. Let's get all these people, because ellos son like the masses, a big stampede of wildebeests. Wildebeests, the wildebeests, they're all, in Africa, they all run together. This is how they see us. And let's tell them now that the best thing in the world is tokenized. Everything is going to be tokenized. And we're going to get a chip right here, because estos son el diablo, muchachos, son el diablo. You don't know about that? Son el diablo. To say something like that, ladies and gentlemen, that's the devil telling us all his plans while we are off with the fairies. Either you join the devil or be left behind. Kino, what a writer this Kino is, man. What a writer this man is. And he's doing it in Spanish and he's translating in English. And I say, Coño, Kino, how do you do this? How do you do this? A government ID, it's like it is, You ever seen those dogs? They're dogs with elegance, a Yorkie, a Pomeranian, a Shih Tzu, you know what I'm trying to say? A German Shepherd, you know how they see us? They see us like muds. Muds. You don't know about that. You don't know about that. You don't know that kind of stuff. You don't know it. You're a lucky one, Donna, that you're not gonna let nobody chip you. You're a lucky one. But this is what they do. You know, this is what they do. This is, if you see this guy, if you see Larry Fink, I don't even want to tell you what Blackrock is a monster, but a monster or a real monster, you know? El Diablo. You know, this is all seteado. You put them all together. You move them all. Or Larry, it's time for you. You're up, Larry. You know? You're up, Larry. You're up, Larry. It's you. And Larry has to go and talk and say, because this is going to be tokenized, and this is the way it's going to be, and this and that. Y Larry lo que es un corrupto, un dañado, un enfermo. You know what enfermo is? You don't know what that means. You don't know. That's a gang over there. And they participate, you know, and pizza and hot dogs and all that stuff. You don't know about that. You don't know about that stuff. I'm telling you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I already told you that they cashed out $190 million. And $200 million, the mystery well. Let's round it up to $400 million. $500 million. Papi, los palos que están metiendo. Pretty soon, that young kid, you're not going to believe me, but I'm going to tell you, that young kid is going to have more money than the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue. More money. And ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing they can do about it. The blue team did the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. The blue team did the same thing. They gave that lady, when she was running for the presidency, over $1 billion. Over $1 billion. And the money, they didn't know where the money went. And they still owe money from that campaign. Papi, it's all rigged, man. It's all rigged. We're getting fraud left and right. Papi, esto está escrito ya. Esto está escrito. Esto está escrito. Esto es bíblico. This is bíblico. You know what? Bíblico. ¿Cómo se dice bíblico? Bíblico. You know, la Biblia. Esto es bíblico. You know? Esto exactly. That one right there. $400 million. Nancy Pelosi. Papi, it's all rigged, man. It's all rigged. Y nosotros estamos como unos sapos. And now they're seeing that gold is out of control. And now they're saying this guy, that guy from Blackrock, when it first came out, crypto, he was not on board with that. He wasn't on board. As a matter of fact, he was making fun of it. And the guy from Vanguard also making fun of crypto. Porque it's like that. They all have to talk. These are, I don't know, I believe that these people are expert financial, you know, people, you know. They're put there, you know, we're going to put you here, we're going to put you here, and put you here, and get all those kids, those lambones, and tell them what to do and how to do it. And we are corrected. You see, you finally understood it, Damon. The word corrected right now. We are all being corrected. Only us 24 here, we're not being corrected. Because I'm giving you the lead. But the ones that are in there, the slave puppets, they got to work. They got to work. They got to push an agenda. It's an agenda they have to push. I mean, you know, I'm trying to tell you these things. You know, like I said again, you know, I asked myself, is this, you know, because of the reason they dumped all that BTC? Did they know something? Coño, papi, they dumped it all. Esa gente no pierde nunca. And when they win, you're not going to win. Eso es mentira. They're going to get all of us como esclavito. I'm going to go buy now XR. I don't know how you call that. XRP. I'm going to buy ETF. This, that. We put. They don't need you to put so much. You know, tú pon 500, you put 500, you put 500, and we get them all. Con la mano arriba. You know, you know what I'm saying. You know, tú sabes. You know, they say, no, 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 no. What you do is you put, you put 500 in this one, 200 in that one. It's not really hurting you, but it's adding up to what they need. You know, we don't need these lambones and palomos to put 10,000. Let them put 1,000. So they don't get hurt. Okay, these people are vicious, man. Yeah, it's already here. I thought you said that it hit 5,000, Achilles. I said, whoa. So this is what's going on. And they told you such a sweet way. And they're telling you that the ones that get involved now are going to become a millionaire like that. So you have these people, they're daydreamers, they're daydreamers, they're out of touch with reality. You understand me? And they say, coño, if I put 1,000, I'm going to become a millionaire. Not a millionaire, papi. With $1 million, papi, let's say me, right? Let's say me. With $1 million, I live out the rest of my life. I live out the rest of my life. Wow. 4,000, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Achilles just said $4,400, a troy ounce of gold. I'm telling you, papi, this is moving too fast. So those people now are working. Let's get them. Let's distract them. Let's distract them now and tell them they can make $1 million buying, tokenize. Mr. Wicked is asking me, ladies and gentlemen, when would it hit 5,000? Wicked, I just finished telling you that 9 days ago, this thing hit $4,000. And today, which is already the 16th, it's already at $4,400. When do you think it'll hit 5,000? When do you guys think it's going to hit 5,000? Okay, let me hear you. I already gave you a lead. I gave you 4 weeks in advance. 4,400. When is it going to get hit 5,000? At the end of the month. Look at that. At the end of the month. Okay, like Christmas. So you're saying this gonna, wow. Turkey Day. Wow, I like that. Ese Thursday es el diablo, papá. Dijo el pavo. The way it's behaving, how can it be at the end of Christmas? How? Papi, I just finished telling you that when I stopped looking at it, it was at $4,373. And Mr. Achilles just finished telling us it hit 4,400. It's moving like this. This is why they have all these people giving you subliminal messages to confuse your mind. Did anybody hear Vanguard, the CEO of Vanguard talking? He was saying, no. That one is playing the good cop. That one is saying, I don't believe in cryptocurrency. Or should I say, I don't believe in Bitcoin. So that guy, Vanguard, is saying, I don't believe in cryptocurrency or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it is no more. And then this guy, Blackrock, Larry Fink, is saying, we're going to be tokenized. Tokenization. ¿Tú entiendes? So then you got JP Morgan in a quiet, tranquilo, in his buildings, making apartments with swimming pools, gyms for his people, his little circle, so they can do the backstroke in the 20th floor, Let them do the work now. Papi, esto es una locura. And if we do not wisen up, these people will keep on manipulating us. Like como the sheeps into the slaughterhouse. You guys are going into the slaughterhouse, ya está pa'l carajo. Y más nada. It's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you have so much of that HTC, 90% HTC, that thing that femto people like this for 2 hours like this. Come on, guys. How can a body stay like this for 2 hours? Tell me, what does that have that lets people like this for 2 hours? And then they say, you know what? Let's give him now. Let's give him turnkey. You know, turnkey. You know, the kratom, you know, over there, and powder and juice, you know. I don't know. And people drinking that and they hallucinating, seeing rabbits, seeing turkeys. Papi, están bombardeando la humanidad. Están bombardeando la humanidad. And then they tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. And I was so sad when I saw that. I said, oh my God, qué clase de gonorrea. So if you get the XRP or the VWA, you know, they're all fighting now with all these, you know, tokens and stuff. You might be able to get an AP. So a chiquitito, the poor kid, you know, he sees that he's working at McDonald's, making $15 an hour, flipping burgers. Nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful. He's working and that's beautiful. He takes his money and they tell him already, if you buy WVA or whatever it is, VWA, because they're all selling it. They have all become salespeople. Every single one. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? Que son unos pariguayos. Unos pariguayos. Don't worry, I'm going to give you a watch market update. I'm going to give you a watch market update. You know, the banks don't care. They're making the cut. They don't care. You know? They're good. You know what I'm trying to say, Achilles. You know. There you go. There's no bailouts. Te van a cagar en su madre todo el mundo. Deep, 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 deep. Go ahead. Give me the lightning. Give me the lightning. Thank you, Zodi. Thank you very much. I try, Papi, and I do it for free with my heart in my hand. Here. And people don't want to understand. I was talking to people today, and they told me, pero coño, Juan. I said, pero don't you see it? Pero what do you mean? Look, Google it. Don't be so lazy. They're switching it around. Merrill Lynch is involved in gold. Vanguard. This one. So they say, okay, 3 say this and 3 say this. And we'll drive them crazy. And we'll tell them that right away, when this thing goes up to $48 trillion, Papi, these motherfroggers have said this word. There's money in stocks, real estate, this, that, Keno stocks, Juan stocks, Damon stocks, Mr. Donut stocks, Thurston Howard stocks. $48 trillion. People go crazy, papi. 48 trillones de dólares. They're driving us crazy. This is like the movie Obey. Put your glasses on so you can see. You know? Put your glasses on. Papi, these people are demons. People are demons. You don't know about that. Ellos no saben de Toquino. Ellos no entienden esto todavía, Kino. JP Morgan doesn't have to move. I finished telling you that sorry. Thank you very much, sorry, for that super chat. Thank you, chat. Thank you very much. These people don't have to move. JP Morgan doesn't have to move. JP Morgan tells the guy, hey, tell this guy from Blackrock to work a little there, okay? Tell him to work. And tell the other chum from Vanguard to say the opposite. You know, you say this, and at the long run, they do whatever they want, Papi. You don't know about that, Papi. Do whatever they want. You know? These people say to you things, but at the end, they do whatever they want. Hacen lo que ellos quieran. They do whatever they want, whether you want to believe it or not. Eso es, Papi, that's a group, man, that is, you have to sell. You have to sell your soul to be in that group. And none of you are going to drink, you know, none of you are going to eat poop, and none of you are going to drink pee. I'm telling you that. Whether you want to hear it or not, you won't. You won't. You know, exactly. You what do you think? You know, I'm telling you what it is. I'm giving it to you today because you need to. Somebody has to tell you the truth that this is all rigged. That kid, $30 million. 30 million. Look into it whenever you want. That young kid, Papi, I have much respect for that young kid. If the young kid is smart, he said, I got Papito's working in the White House. Papito, what are you doing? Well, son, tomorrow I'm going to send out the big tweet to the people over there from China, Xinjiang. Oh, you're going to do that, Dad? Really? Well, Dad, I need you to lend me $30 million. For what, my son? You lend me $30 million and I will give you back, I'll give you back $100 million back to you. And I stay with the rest. Okay, son. Boom! Put me 30 million in Bitcoin. At what time you making the tweet, Dad? Papi, it's like this. It's like having a father that is the president of a bank. He's the president of the bank. Dad, but you told me what time. I'll tell you 30 minutes before. Okay, Papito. 30 minutes before, take it out. Give me. Ya. Eso es una mafia, papi. You borrow the money from daddy, from dada. That's it. People are asking, but how does he have that money? But how can you ask me that question? How does he have that money? I was talking to one Michiganer today. I said, pero papi, how you telling me that how did he get the $30 million, the 18-year-old kid? How much is the father worth? The father must be worth already, I would say easy. I don't know, $10 billion? What's 30 million to the son? It's like what is it? A spit to a bucket? How do you guys say that stuff? 30 millones pesos. Papa, what time? I'll tell you 30 minutes before, son. Son, but what are you doing? Don't worry about it, Papa. Because they say that the little kid es una jodienda con Bitcoin. The little kid is something special with Bitcoin. The little kid, remember this, a drop in the bucket, $30 million is to him like, le di 3 millones. Allegedly, but you said it right, allegedly. It ain't that, bro. It ain't that. It ain't that, Papa. And so now, because I didn't see nobody ask me, so who's the mystery well that put the 420? Who's the mystery well? Short, boom, pay me. Who's the mystery well? Anybody know? Any ideas? I'm with the well. It's crazy what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you see that guy, because they say that he is a genius, finance, a brain, that Larry Fink, they say that he's brutal. He's set for life, bro. Set for life. When you have daddy working there, you can do whatever you want. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing. You know what Teflon is? Remember they will call that guy from New York, the Teflon guy from New York? Those people are the real Teflon people, papi. They're the owners of the world, man. Go ahead, do what you want. Listen, if Trump doesn't leave the White House, you got all these people. You got the guy from the electric cars, the electric cars. What's his name? The guy that's, está feo, está extraño. He looks like he looks like a lizard, the other guy from the electric cars. They say that guy is close to $1 trillion. We are in the money. These people are in the money. They're all in the money, ¿Tú entiendes? They're all in the money. And nobody's going to touch nobody there because this presidency did this. They did what they had to do. You do whatever you want. You're good to go. There's no questions asked. Papi, like that, a woman that's making $200,000, Nancy Pelosi has $400 million. She's half a billionaire. Half a billionaire sentada ahí con las nalgas tísicas flacas, doing nothing. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm telling you these things and going back to the people, to the military people. This is why it's an embarrassment. And I understand now because I got a little thing there that I'm looking at, that they found some kind of a reserve to pay those people that are in the army. Papi, how you not gonna pay those people? You're not gonna pay those people? They're there watching our borders, watching our, I don't know how do you call it, our oceans, our waters, how you not gonna pay them? Oh, look at this luxury gentleman is asking me, how did that happen? Can somebody tell luxury gentlemen if the government paid those people, the soldiers? I don't mean salute the owl. I mean the soldiers. The armed forces. They said that they found the money under a pillow. $400 million. Papi, they're there watching Maduro. And then you got those people over there from Hamas that the president made peace in the Middle East. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, they were already whacking people, killing people all over the streets. And then you got the people from over there from Ukraine. Papi, la situación está jodida. That's a lot of vodka, bro. La situación está jodida. And then you got the other guy from over there, from Russia, the other guy, and he's saying, listen to me. We've been spending a lot of our ammunition, and right now we don't want no problems with the United States of America because we're low. We're low. It's all rigged, papi. Están acabando con la humanidad. They're finishing with us, bro. They're finishing. This is gonna be, man, and people are still out there thinking that the watches are unbelievable. Everything is gravy and beautiful. Papi, jamón del malo, papá. Jamón de Sedano, del presidente. You know what I'm saying? Del extra, de Bravo. You don't know about that kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I give it to you for free. Papi, we're upside down. I have given you all this. Te di todo. Shutdown, military, Larry Fink saying that now everything is going to be tokenized, tokenization, the devil is giving us his plan. That's for real. If you go into the to the Bible and you look, it's there. It's there. Está ahí, papi. It's there. It's there. And we're still skip hopping around. Do you have there that Rolex? Do you have that one for me? Muchacho, tú estás loco. Méteselo en el oro. Pon en el oro el billete. Ponlo ahí para que gane dinero. Listen to me, I'm getting my blood pressure high. Kino, dame la pastilla del corazón. Del corazón. I got heart problems. I gotta take. The devil, man. Listen, man, when I heard that guy said that, I say, man, listen to the devil telling all of us his plan. This is the plan. This is the plan that I got for all these, maranitos. You know what maranito is? Maranitos. Para el paquete chileno. You know what a paquete chileno is? You guys don't know what a paquete chileno. Papi, I was, I'm going to tell you, man. I was at a young age, instead of chewing Wrigley's gum and playing with lollipops, I was digesting knowledge from old mans. And I would look at them, I would look at them. And I go, I don't know. I would say to myself, I don't know what that mother frogger said, but damn, it sounded powerful to me. You know, it's unbelievable. I remember me being a young kid. I would say, man, what did that guy say? But it sounded so good. I has to be for real, you know? And I remember all those words. And as I got older, I would go back to those same people and say, hey, man, you told me this when I was 9 years old. Today I'm 16. And they would tell me again. And I would go, God damn. Papi. El paquete chileno, papi, paquete chileno. A cualquiera aquí se come un mojón. Cualquiera se come el mojón. You know what mojón is, ladies and gentlemen? You know what mojón is? Listen to me. This is why we are all being corrected. We are all being corrected. Listen, when you sign a contract with those people from Hollywood and your contract is over, you know what happens to you? You start looking like The Rock. You know The Rock? Have you seen The Rock? That guy, strong guy, wrestling guy? You see how he looks? It's over. The contract is over. And he's being corrected. You don't know about that. This is, papi, to go into that world, you got to be sure what you're doing. You got to be sure what you're doing to go into that world. These people are puppets and slaves for some time. You know, like the girl we have here in Miami. You know, we have a girl from Miami. I'm going to come straight here now. And if you guys don't know about it, I'll explain it to you. We got a girl here from Miami, you know. And I remember me dancing sweet 16s and 15s, quinceañeras. You know, I would dance. And that band was like a backyard band. And we're talking about no other than Miami Sound Machine. You know? Miami Sound Machine. You know? Emilio Estefan and Gloria Estefan. You know? And you know what she said, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know what this lady said? A special sauce they're giving, Papi. Special sauce. His eyes are popping out already. This lady that lives in Miami, Florida, lives in one of those islands over there, back there in the beach. And she said over there that they asked her, what does she think about the guy, you know, Pennsylvania Avenue on his second term? And you know what she said? You know what that lady said, Gloria? Gloria said, you know, I'm a little scared because now, you know, I feel like I have to walk the streets of Miami with a passport. And when I gonorrhea, these are all puppets. You know, they are all puppets. Todos son puppets. You know, you guys don't want to hear about this, but this is the way it is. You know, you become a puppet. I want to know one thing, ladies and gentlemen. I want to know one thing. And I'm going to say this, and please hear me out. I believe that I'm a very, very open-minded man. And I believe that in families, you have children that they come out, you know, gay or lesbians and all that good stuff. And that is fine. But I want to know something. Why is it that every family couple from Hollywood has you know, something going on with trans and all those things? I want to know why Hollywood in particular, you know, has a child that, you know, wants to become a man, wants to become a woman, and it's just there in Hollywood. Can anybody answer me that? Please answer it. Anybody. I want to know why. I want to know why. You know, again, aquí cada cual hace lo que quiera con sus nalgas. Cada cual hace lo que quiera con sus nalgas. You know, it's an agenda. So again, you know, I got a friend of mine's, Eddie, beautiful people, and his son is gay. Beautiful kid, you know, he's gay. But that's fine, you know. You know, my wife's family, you know, there's a couple of, you know, young girls. That's fine too. But I'm talking about why, you know, they adopt a kid, you know, from Africa, Russia, And when they come over here, one wants to be, the one that's the boy wants to be a girl, and the one that's a girl wants to be a boy. And it's all of them. If I'll give you all an assignment, and you're gonna go, man, that Juan Nieves está loco. How does he come up with this? Because I'm looking at them. You sacrifice your children for fame and fortune. That's why. It's what it is. And then you got all these lambones, family members, they look and they say, hey, that's in style. I'm going to look for myself for, a kid that I can convert him into, this. I don't understand what's going on. I'm telling you, I am the most open-minded motherfucker you're going to see. But I look at those people in Hollywood and I go like that. Pero coño, si todos tienen, todos los transforman, se vuelven hombre. Like that kid, what's his name? The guy from that guy rapper, Willie Smith, Willie something, Smith people, what's going on there? What's going on? I'm not, listen to me, I don't have no kind of, I'm telling you, cada cual hace lo que quiera con sus nalgas. If you don't know what I say, you Google it. I'm not going to tell you. But I don't know what's going on. And this is an agenda that they push. That guy, he's not only drinking the pee, he's eating the poop. He's eating the poop. And then you got the other guy, from my island of Puerto Rico, that guy they called him the rabbit, the rabbit, that guy with the rabbit over there. And he said that, he will not make a concert in the United States of America, allegedly. Todo esto es allegedly. What's up with that? Allegedly. I'm in your team. But I want to know what's El Conejo. That guy, Bunny Bad. Bunny Bad over there. He said that he cannot come to America to do concert because he's scared they're gonna pick him up. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Todo esto es una agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I got to you and you understood what I said. I'm gonna give you a watch market update because when we start talking about this, remember, I can talk about this for more, but I can go deeper and you guys can get scared, and I don't want you guys to get scared. Porque, ¿tú entiendes? Yeah, and let me tell you, they already said it. No, it is part of, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Es un lambón. Exactly, Dr. Evil is part of the United States. Somos americanos. I was born an American, but I wasn't born in Puerto Rico. I was born in New York City. Tú sabes, I gotta regulate my knowledge. Damon, you're right. I'm trying hard, I tried telling them, and when people hear $48 trillion, the masses are gonna, give their money away because you're never gonna hit that, you're not gonna hit it because that is inside something to trading inside, Es una jodienda, papi, es una jodienda. Let me give you a watch market update because it's a real nice watch market update. And you guys deserve it, okay? So I'm gonna start off with a watch. Did you guys learn something from what I said? You can lie. You don't have to lie. You can say that it was, if you didn't like what I said, okay, viste, Doc Mick in Florida. Doc, you made me laugh the other day when E.F. Hutton listens. How does it go? E.F. Hutton, So I'm going to give you a watch market update. And ladies and gentlemen, our first watch is a Rolex Date. White gold. Beautiful watch. Bien, papa. Good for you, Damon. Rolex Date, white gold with an olive green dial. Yes, it is. It's very scary luxury, gentlemen. I'm happy you're here. Yes. People listen. Exactly. E.F. Hutton. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Sodi. Thank you so much, Papa. Thank you. So this is a Rolex date. It's white gold and it has an olive green dial. Same thing as the rose gold with an olive green dial. The rose gold went all the way to 95 to $105,000, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Dona, for that $35,000. And this is a beautiful watch. This is the reference 228239. And I'm going to tell all of you, this watch is like $41,400. And this one, the white one, was up there $75,000, $80,000. And I'm going to tell all of you, because they're telling you that the watch market is up and running, I'm going to tell you the truth in this channel. You want it with all the bells and whistles, but do not pay more than $34,000. You do whatever you want. $34,000, right? It's not a very nice watch. It's a very beautiful watch, Donut. At least to me, I think it's a very beautiful watch. And you're going to be surprised because all the watches that I'm giving you here, okay, look at that. Luxury gentleman saying, I'll pay max $33,000. But Mr. Donut and luxury gentleman, you know what they're asking for that watch out there? So you can see what kind of person I am. They're asking for that watch 40, 39, 38, 38.5. And you saw the price I gave you. Porque yo soy un loco. I'm crazy. I'm a sugarer. I'm a sugarer. I'm telling you what it is. You do whatever you want. You saw it, right? Listen to this one, ladies and gentlemen. This is an AP Royal Oak, non-converted. You know, it was born completely rose gold, bracelet and casing. You know, it wasn't that it came in with a leather strap and they adapted, you know, the rose gold bracelet. They bought it from AP and they put it on. No, this came, it was born like that. Black dial, chronograph, reference number 26240, 41 millimeter. They're asking for this watch. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment, and I cannot let them do this to you. I won't. I already said it. I won't let it happen. Even though we have 32 subscribers watching the show and 23 likes, it should be 32 and 32. I get 23, and that's all right. That's all right. I'm the stupid one. I'm the stupid one that I do it for you for free. You know, no monthly dues. And then when I say it, they run. They run to the hills. Ladies and gentlemen, AP Royal Oak, rose gold, unconverted, chronograph, black dial, 26240 with a 41 millimeter. Don't pay for that watch. And I'm telling you, don't pay for that watch more than $91,000. Don't pay more than $91,000. I wouldn't pay the $91,000, but I got to tell you the numbers. So you won't pay 105. So you don't pay 106, you know? From that guy over there, you know, the guy with the people feet happy, you know, those two brothers at night at the Roxbury. One is smart, one is dumb, one is tall, one is short, one talks, one is introverted, and they hang around, you know who? With Toupee Wingman, you know? Unbelievable. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about another watch, Richard Mille. Richard Mille watches are dead in water. Richard Mille are dead in water, ladies and gentlemen. Este es un reloj que está muerto. This watch right here is a Richard Mille RM011 rose gold, inspired by Formula One driver Felipe Massa. You know, unbelievable. Rose gold with a blue. Listen to this, the way they do this, you know. It's all rose gold, you know, the casing, and then they have a blue, baby blue strap. And you know what this is at? You know here, this one over here, they put like a little blue rubber band on it, you know? So they make it all look like that, matching like a pair of shoes, you know? Two-tone pair of shoes. And this watch, ladies and gentlemen, is unbelievable. You know, this is, te digo, this is a Richard, you know, nice dial, you know, skeletonized. It's beautiful. Un relosazo. And this watch, ladies and gentlemen, you know, when you had this watch, you had a $500,000 watch in your hand. You know, you had 500,000 trancas en la mano. You had $500,000. And let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, that's in the secondary gray watch market. But still, paying $500,000 for a watch, you were talking about, you know, exactly. Oh my God, Mr. Donut. Anyway, guys, don't pay for that watch. And it's dropping. You should see what they're asking for it, and you're gonna hear what I'm telling you. Don't pay for that watch. I wouldn't buy the watch, but I'm gonna tell you, just in case you're gonna buy it. Don't pay more and think about it, right? Don't pay more and think about it. Don't pay more than $206,000. That's all I got to tell you. Rose gold, chrono, skeletonized, all that stuff, It's unbelievable. Matching blue strap with the with the matching blue here. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, the Iron Sheik is making videos with he's hurting. Esto se viró. Esto se viró. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, let me get serious here. Ladies and gentlemen, there's another watch that they were going crazy with this watch. And it's the Rolex Land Dweller, stainless steel. It has like a fluted white gold bezel, I think so. And it has a white, chicken coop, dial, like chicken coop, It's unbelievable, this watch. It's a 36 millimeter. And listen to chicken coop dial. I'm talking about it's unbelievable, the chicken coop dial. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see how this watch is dropping, the way it's behaving. The same way I was telling you that I'm watching gold, I watch all these watches. And I spoke about this watch, man, I'm telling you, not too long ago, like a week ago. And this is a 36 millimeter, reference number 127234. Unbelievable. The chicken coop dial, retail price $14,450. Exactly, chicken wire dial. That's what I call it. The chicken coop dial. The chicken, you put the little chicks in there, and you see the little, the alambre, the alambre. And ladies and gentlemen, does anybody know what price I'm going to tell you for this watch? The retail is $14,450. Does anybody know? Give me a number. Don't feel bad. 31. One more. One more. One more, please. Throw it there. Don't pay for that watch, ladies and gentlemen. And you heard it first here. You heard it first here. Randy, you heard it first here. Mr. Donald, you heard it first here. Boy, you guys are going to be blown away. You guys are going to be blown away, man. Don't pay for that watch. What you did. It's what you did. Give it up, 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 give it up. Don't pay more than $24,000 and dead. You do whatever you want. But I'm going to give you another one pretty soon. Just stay there. Next one, ladies and gentlemen, is a Cartier Santos. Santos de Cartier. Yellow gold. Skeleton. Skeleton, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he sold this. Deep. Boxing black eyes. Getting darker and darker and darker, man. Darker. Ladies and gentlemen, Cartier Santos de Cartier. Yellow gold skeleton. Reference number WHSA0042. 39.7 millimeter casing. This watch was just a release, this new model. Just on 825. The retail price of this watch is $77,000. Skeleton, the dial skeleton with a lot of, like that everywhere, It's open. You can see everything. The brain, the heart, the organs, everything. You can see everything. And ladies and gentlemen, it's $77,000. I know you guys are not big fans of Cartier, but many of the subscribers that I have, they're fans of it. And I must tell all of you, ladies and gentlemen, exactly. This one is completely factory. It's just, yellow gold. And the only thing you're going to see that's looking different is the skeleton, all those bones all over the place. Don't pay for that watch more than $45,000, all right? Don't pay more. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an AP Royal Oak Rose Gold, non-converted, you know, non-converted. Chrono, 41 millimeter with a black dial as well. Black dial as well, but this is the reference number 26320. Very, very nice watch. It comes with all the bells and whistles, and that's the way you want it, with all the bells and whistles. And don't pay for that watch. If you're smart, don't pay more. I mean, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $71,000, okay? Don't pay more than $71,000. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex two-tone Yacht Master, rose gold with stainless steel with a white dial, 44 millimeter with a blue ceramic bezel. Reference number 116681. Ladies and gentlemen, you do yourself a favor. Does anybody know what I'm going to try to pay for that Yacht Master? Rose gold with stainless steel, 44. You know, it's a big, it's a big watch, Wow. Something big is happening in Venezuela, ladies and gentlemen. Something big is happening in Venezuela. Just to let you all know. I just got a telefax. I got a telefax, from overseas. Something bad is happening in Venezuela. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that two-tone Yacht Master rose gold with stainless steel with a blue ceramic bezel, white dial. Don't pay more than $17,500. All right? Here's a watch that I need you to pay attention to now, okay? All of you. Because this watch, I told you, I will say a week or maybe less than a week. Today is Thursday. Maybe I talked about this watch on Monday. So you can see the acceleration of the way watches are going, even though they're telling you, I don't know if you guys saw that Fudinki se jodió Maduro. Ladies and gentlemen, they're saying, I'm going to interrupt this for a moment, but they're telling me that something big is happening in Venezuela and that some big news, and I heard it from very, credible, honest subscribers. There's something happening in Venezuela. I heard it from another gentleman that Maduro is over. I'm just saying, allegedly. So maybe if you are watching the news, please give me the rundown so I can, keep on telling you people what's happening out there, all right? And I'm going to continue on with this watch. And this is a watch that you need to listen to me because I spoke about this watch. This is a Rolex Rose Gold. Rolex Rose Gold Land Dweller. 40 millimeter. 40 millimeter. Reference number of this watch. Oh my God. Special forces are already on ground in Venezuela. Papi, I'm telling you, Marco Rubio, papá. Marco Rubio, to you, Marco Rubio, allegedly. I'm telling you, it's happening. The world is upside down. Ustedes no me lo quieren creer. You guys don't want to believe me. Now, when I finish the show, I'm going to sit down and drink a little bit of tea, a little Liptonite tea. I sit down, I want to watch the news to see what's happening out there. Papi, that's what they're saying, Mr. Dona, is that. They're talking about that. They're talking about that every time they catch one of those boats, they have enough to kill, nothing on Fox, not news yet. Okay, thank you, Damon, that they can kill 25,000 Americans. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell nobody they want the oil. Anyway, this rose gold Land Dweller 40 millimeter, reference number 127335, with the chicken coop dial, allegedly. The chicken coop dial, ladies and gentlemen, it's an unbelievable watch. Retail price is $47,400. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you 4 days ago, don't pay for that watch, $64,000. And it's already at $64,000, right? It's already at 64 when I said it. But ladies and gentlemen, here it goes. Don't pay for that watch. You can thank me later on. You can thank me later on. Don't pay for that watch. More than $60,400. $500. You do whatever you want. Exxon Mobil, ready to go. I'm telling you, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. It's your money. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you two watches. Well, this is the last two watches I'm going to give you of the evening. But these two watches are very important for you to listen to. I mean, the last three were very important. But this one coming up is unbelievable. It was just released, I would say, a month ago. We're talking about the Vacheron Constantin Overseas. Pink gold, pink dial. Ultra thin perpetual calendar, 41 millimeter. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Perpetual calendar. It was a new release, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, and I'll keep on telling you, man. It's a beautiful watch. I mean, Scout's honor. This is a sickening watch. It's ultra thin. Un movimiento sobrado. It has a couple of straps. You know, it's just an incredible watch. And ladies and gentlemen, the retail price of this watch, is $120,000. $120,000. You know, it's a beautiful, let me tell you, luxury gentlemen, this is like the mommies will go crazy. You know, the mommies see you with that watch and you go like that. You know, they throw panties. They'll throw panties, kind of smelly, but they throw them at you, you know? They'll throw them to you. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. E. Wow. This is the pink dial. This is the pink dial. The pink, the new one. It just came out a month ago. It's a beautiful watch. Pink gold, pink dial, perpetual calendar, ultra thin, 41 millimeter, the newest of the newest. The retail price of that watch is $120,000. $120,000. $120,000 plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. All right? Hear me out, ladies and gentlemen. They're asking for this watch out there, $135,000, $137,000, $138,000. There'll be a cold day in hell before they get those numbers. The numbers you have to be at, and you do whatever you want, because you know there's going to be more space for that watch to continue dropping, because let's be honest, they're beautiful, beautiful watches, but they cannot hold, you know, their numbers. They just cannot. You know, they're not in the league of AP, Patek, Rolex. Okay, those three. How's that? They just cannot hold. And I'm going to tell you, if you are looking for that watch, don't pay more. I mean, you do whatever you want. It's crazy because if you put the taxes on that 120 and the number I'm going to tell you, you're going to, wow, where's the meat? Where's the meat left in the bone on this watch? Don't pay for that watch more than $123,500. All right? $123,500. Don't pay more than that. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my last watch of the evening. This is a watch that I say always, that sometimes Gucci gets it wrong, sometimes Louis Vuitton gets it wrong, and sometimes Rolex gets it wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a brand new Rolex, white gold, fully factory diamond baguette, bezel, casing, a bracelet, meteorite dial, Sky Dweller, 42 millimeter. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch was sold to one of those rappers from Canada. I think his name is Rake. You know Rake? And let me tell you, he paid for that watch. And I remember when they bought that watch, because it was purchased here in Miami and it was sent to him. It was purchased in Miami, and they sold that watch for a whopping, does anybody know who I'm talking about? This is our last watch of the evening. A whopping $1.2 million for that thing. $1.2 million. That guy, Drake, the rapper, Drake, or Rake, whatever you call him. You know what I'm trying to say. Exactly. He bought it. He bought it here in Miami. We're talking about reference number 336959 with the special letters T as in Tom, B as in boy, R as in run. Okay? Run. And ladies and gentlemen, this has a meteorite dial and even have the hour markers with baguette dials. It's an unbelievable watch. Not for me. I think, Rolex got to run with that watch. It looks like a bus down from 47th Street, with the subway train jumper over there, skin tight genie man bun, and Sinbad, a genie, Marcelito with the teeth now, those people, those funny looking people, the Ten Commandments, all those people, that kind of watch. It looks like they made it in the basement. Ta, 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 putting all the diamonds and all that. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. It's your money. I wouldn't buy that watch for nothing in the world, but they requested this price. They requested it. Don't pay for that watch more than $615,000. That's all I got to say. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you enjoy this watch market update show. I hope you learned something. I hope you really learned something. I hope you understand where gold is going. And I'm going to tell you again one more time. I honestly believe. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I am wrong. But the way gold is behaving, I see gold hitting 5,000, faster than a speeding bullet, That's all, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like my video. Like I say always, like me and Sweet Kid Kino say always, take care and brush your hair. Be well, guys. Salud. Amor. Ciao. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you very much for your support, for being here. All of you. From the bottom of my heart, you guys being here means a whole lot to me. Thank you to the ones that, are supporting us in other ways. Again, to all of you. Un abrazo y un cariño. Ciao.